Justice for Joe, that was very interesting because what happened is we organized the community. This was, see, the inquest system in this city, when the police kill somebody, they have an inquest system, and they call it an inquiry system, not a court of law, simply to determine how that person died, not to determine any punitive measures or determine if that person died, you know, anybody should be punished for that death, even though an inquest can come out with two decisions. Either it's justifiable homicide or it's unjustifiable homicide. Now, if you or I, which is not a police officer, kill somebody and they would have an inquest system and they determined that it was unjustifiable homicide, we would immediately be prosecuted by the prosecution office as homicide, you see, and we would be incarcerated, or we would already be incarcerated. However, a policeman, it's a double standard, because they have an option to say that I believed in my mind that my life was threatened. So they can come up with certain incidents, they can create certain incidents to say, in my mind, I felt as though my life was threatened, so that gave them the right to use deadly force. Now, these decisions was not objective but subjective. So what happened in the Justice for Joe committee, because we had so much concrete evidence to the contrary, that it was ridiculous for him to subconsciously say that I felt my life was in danger. First of all, they said it was a 6-inch knife, a 4-inch knife that they pulled out of Joe Hebert's hand. Secondly, they said that Joe Hebert turned on him and they shot him in the front of the head. But what we did, because we were able to get the concrete information and mobilize the city, we were able to get so much attention on this case. We even had the national inquiry, not a national magazine come in, I believe it was Life or Time magazine or something, came in and did a story and stuff. So we had actually national attention on this story, this police murder, you know, like this. And then we had John Coughlin, one of the best legal minds in the business, presenting evidence to the inquest panel. Inquest panel was formed of 6 people, and they're supposed to be a peer group of the person that's deceased. However, we had an all-white inquest jury, but we came in with people actually asking questions. They had to move the court proceeding from one courtroom to a larger courtroom because you have to facilitate the public. So they moved it to the preceding court judge. And so we had hundreds of people coming in daily, standing room only. And we were taking questions from the community people, handing them to John Coughlin. John Coughlin was bombarding the police officers that was coming up, the police guild representatives and stuff like this. See, one thing, the prosecutor's supposed to be objectives in an inquest proceeding, but he's actually on the police guild side. The police guild hires a lawyer to speak for the policeman, you know, like this. So also Alan J. Earlywine, who was the officer that killed Joe Hebert, he his story couldn't hold up. And so we organized rallies, Justice for Joe rallies all throughout the community. We marched on the mayor's office demanding justice, that he be fired and taken off the police staff and stuff like this. We had demands going forth. We had this inquest going forth. And because of all the impact that we had and the involvement that we had, it was the first time in Seattle that an officer was found, the death was found as unjustifiable. Now, the question that we're educating the community that he should be persecuted. But Christopher Bailey, who was the prosecutor at that time, refused to prosecute. See, even though he was found unjustifiable homicide.